Hey, guys.
And welcome back to the Gridiron Address. It is week 6 of the NFL season, and it is just a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day for football. I had a fantastic day, and we're just going to jump right into this. We're doing something we don't usually do. We are talking about the Thursday night game, and that is because Jaxson's New York Giants upset the defending champion Philadelphia Eagles. And when that happened, I was like, I got to get Jaxson on because I was not expecting this. Cam Skattebo absolutely killed it. Jaxson Dart, why wasn't he starting sooner, Jaxson? Giants might be in a better place if he was starting week 1. But, Jaxson, real quick, I want to get your thoughts on the Giants' upset win over the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh.
We back?
For a second there?
We lost it. All right, I'm here.
Yeah, I just want to get your thoughts real quick on that upset win for the Giants, and how are you feeling about that?
Man, I was excited, shocked. I was talking to some guys at work before the game. I'm like, man, if we win the coin toss, I'll be excited because I was going in there with literally no expectations. And the Creatine kids done showed up. Jaxson Dart, Cam Skattebo. It is not to get excited to watch those guys. Skattebo, he likes to hit people, man, and I think that's going to be a little dangerous, and he needs to like scale that back a little bit because he's going to start getting some neck stingers here pretty soon. But man, what a great win! You know, East rivals. Philadelphia's had our number for a lot of years right now, so to come back and win that game. Not even just by a little bit, by whooping them up. So I don't know if that says something about kind of the future of the New York Giants moving forward with these guys that are kind of just that have breathed new life into this team. Or if it says more about how bad Philly is playing right now. I have no idea, man. The Philadelphia Eagles look like a shell of themselves. They do not look like the Super Bowl champs, that is for sure. I don't know if it's a Super Bowl hangover or whatever. They're not utilizing Saquon Barkley. That pass game looks atrocious. Hurts, lots of questions. I don't know. Maybe it's because Sirianni hasn't been on the hot seat. That's kind of what happened last year. Sirianni got on the hot seat, and all of a sudden the Eagles started winning, and they win the Super Bowl. So I think they need to like threaten to fire him, and then maybe they'll play better. But man, what a great game from the Giants. As a Giants fan, it gives us that hope that all is not lost. We have a future in these two gentlemen that have really just come out of nowhere and are playing some really, really fun, amazing football. So I love it. Great win. Super excited.
And a big talking point of our Giants recaps through the first 5 weeks of the season was Brian Daboll's on the hot seat. How much longer is he going to last? Chris, I'll throw this to you first. Do you think this win saves Brian Daboll's job or at least lets him get through the end of this season?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I personally think that he should be able to finish the season even before that. I feel like letting at least him finish out the year would have been a good idea simply because a lot of the issues that they had been having is just the general lack of talent, not necessarily coaching decisions. Yes, there had been some weird things that he had done, especially, last year and the year before. But overall, I don't root a lot of the problems to him. And now, especially with this win, I mean, you have to look at it. Obviously, Cam Skattebo stepped up. He had an insane game with the 3 touchdowns, 98 yards. Jaxson Dart looked really good. They're finally making the right moves, but also the defense stepped up. I mean, picking off Jalen Hurts, they managed to stop that really, really good Eagles offense, holding them to only 17 points and putting up 34 points of their own. good performance. If they can replicate that one or two more times, I mean, I think one thing we can all agree on is that at this point, the New York Giants are not even a bottom. I would not say that they're at the bottom, at least in the NFL going into the year. We thought that, but I would say right now, I would not put them as like a bottom 5 team personally.
Oh, no. And Shannon, I'll throw that to you next. Do you think that this upset win over the Eagles helps Brian Daboll hold on to his job for a little bit longer? Because it did feel like he was on the hot seat and was going to be one of the first few coaches to get fired.
One of the biggest things that helps coaches is winning in the division, and this was a big division win. So I don't see him being looked at as being on the hot seat. This win saved his job because, I mean, I don't know what it is about Thursday games. You know, go with the underdog every Thursday game for the rest of your life, I would have to say, because that's what it seems like. And this was a convincing win. I mean, I don't know what the bigger story is, the New York Giants winning or the Philadelphia Eagles losing. And I think it's the latter, because the Philadelphia Eagles were not supposed to lose that game. They were not, even with the trouble they were having on the offense. Because one week Nick Sirianni wants to throw the ball. Then the next week he wants to run the ball. Then the next week he wants to pass the ball. The next week he wants to pass the ball again. And he shouldn't. And in this game, I don't know what it is. You have all this power on the offense. You have all these great players on the offense. And I think they ran out of footballs because they can't give out footballs to everybody. And so there's turmoil in there because A.J. Brown, you know, he might not want to be on the team anymore. He wants to play one week he doesn't. And, you know, Saquon Barkley's a guy who should be getting the ball, but he's not. He only had 50 yards rushing in that whole game. And I think I think they only gave him the ball, 12 times? I think he had like 12 carries, I think, in that game. Yeah. And it's not good. I mean, you have all this and you get blown out. Like, they got blown out by the Giants. The Giants just look really good. Cam Scatterboo, 3 touchdowns. Shout out to the man. Very good squad. And Chris is right. They're not down at the bottom anymore. They're not.
And Jason, you were shaking your head earlier when I asked this question to Chris. Do you think that this helps Brian Daboll hold on to his job for a little bit longer?
For at least a week. This is week to week. I mean, I need to see some consistency. Look at, you know, last week, you know, the week before, you just totally laid an egg against the Saints, you know, which is one of the worst teams in the NFL. So, I mean, you blew it to them. You came back. Look, it was a great win. Super job. But you can't let 2 guys come in and save your job. I think it's week to week. If they have some consistency and go on a run, we'll see what happens. But if they come out next week and totally get blowed out, you know, then he's back on the hot seat. So I think it's a week to week thing kind of deal right now. So we'll see what happens.
And Chris, moving on to your Pittsburgh Steelers, they moved to 4-1 on their season after a 23-9 victory over the Browns. Something that is typical of the Pittsburgh Steelers in recent years is
Did we lose Aaron?
I think we lost Aaron. Yeah, we lost Aaron.
All right.
Give him some time. I think Chris knows what Aaron's going to ask him.
Yeah, so I'll kind of just go ahead while he's figuring that out. So really, 4-1 is a great start, and I do know that, you know, this has kind of been the traditional history of the Steelers is the early success. I mean, obviously, we had the 10-0 start back in 2021. And the late season collapse is no problem. But my big point with this is that we are not really in a situation where late season collapse can happen, because I think we're going to have sort of an on and off, hot and cold rest of the year. We're 4-1. You look ahead, we have a Thursday game with Cincinnati. I like us there. I think we can win on the road there. You have Green Bay. I don't see that as a win. Indianapolis, don't see it as a win. Chargers, don't see it as a win. Bengals win. Bears win. Bills lost. Ravens win. Dolphins, Lions lost, etc. I'm not going to go over the whole schedule. The thing is, there are winnable games, there are losable games. I see us finishing 3-4 games above 500, but with how bad that division's been, I really see us being able to hold on. The Ravens are 1-5. I think they're a little bit too far behind, especially how bad their defense is, even if Lamar Jackson gets healthy. the Browns are a non-factor, and the Bengals cannot do anything without Joe Burrow. So I just don't see them being able to, any division team really being able to win crucial games, especially against competitive teams. And the Steelers, we play up to our competition. We'll probably split with Baltimore, even with Lamar back. And I see us winning the division. I was saying before I was going to have a bold prediction. I joked last week, but I think we're going to win the AFC North, and I think we're finally going to get that monkey off the back too and get a playoff win, especially with a division win, a decent spot if we end up. I mean, with some of these lower level AFC teams that could be making the playoffs, like New England or Jacksonville, Denver, I see us being able, with the defense how it's been playing, I think that we could definitely beat like a mid-level, wild card team if that's who we end up playing.
Okay. And apologies for the technical difficulties earlier. I don't know what's going on with my Wi-Fi, but Shannon, I'll throw this to you next. Do you think the Steelers are better equipped to avoid this late season collapse, or do you agree with Chris that we won't see that? We'll see more of a on again, off again kind of thing with some of those stronger teams sprinkled in with the rest of their schedule?
Looking at their schedule, I think Chris is right. I mean, there's going to be some games in there where Pittsburgh is going to have some trouble. And then there's going to be some games in there where it looks like they're going to win. And he does have a point, because the AFC might not be as strong as we think that it is. With the looking at the East, looking at the AFC East right now, the Bills have had trouble with their defense. They've got a lightning offense. Now they can put points on the board all day long, but do they have enough defense? The Patriots are so young. Miami's not going to make it. And the Jets, forget about them. They're cellar dwellers. So looking at the West, in the West, they're going to beat the tar out of each other, because the Chiefs, the Broncos, the Chargers, they're going to beat the crap out of each other, and the Raiders are going to just get scraps. And looking at the AFC South, Indianapolis, it looks like Indianapolis and nobody else. And now looking at the AFC North, Pittsburgh has a prime opportunity to take it, and they could win that division. Well, I mean, Chris already put it out with the AFC North. So I think that they can get in there. Now, winning in the playoffs, I don't know. I mean, the verdict's still out. But if there's anybody who can probably find a way to do it, I trust Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh any day of the week. I think that they can find a way to do it. They've got the coaching and they got the personnel, and they're firing on all cylinders on defense. I'm cool with that.
And Jason, last but not least, do you think Pittsburgh's going to avoid their typical late season collapse, or are you going to make it a sweep and say it's going to be hot and cold for the rest of the season?
Well, I said it before and I'll say it again. Nobody wins ugly games like Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I don't see it this year. If they stay consistent and they keep healthy, and one of the things that helped them today was Warren being back in there. They actually had a run game, which opened up the pass game. DK Metcalf is that dude. If you get him the ball, he's going to catch it. Aaron Rodgers knows that this is like probably his last chance to make some noise. So if they can shore up that defense and get a little more consistent, I think, again, the North is theirs. Just give it to them, because everybody else is completely falling off. I don't see the Ravens. The Ravens defense is atrocious. Even with Lamar coming back, they can score all the points they want. They give up more points than anything. But I think the Steelers, they're right now the most consistent team in the AFC. A lot of teams are losing. Like, look at the Chargers. They lost to the Giants. The Bills, they lost to the Patriots. I mean, so there's not like this, even the Chiefs had some bad games. So there's not like a dominant one or two teams. Any of these teams in the AFC can lose at any given week. So the Steelers, I think the Steelers can go to the damn Super Bowl. I mean, that's how. Yes, relax, Chris. Chill out. I know I'm making you excited.
I know. Are going to the Super Bowl.
Exactly. Because you got a quarterback that's been there before. If you stay healthy in your run game, you got a pretty good wide receiver. You got Mike Tomlin, who knows how to win ugly close games. Once you get into the winter time where it's run game and kind of ground and pound, the Steelers, for some reason, find out how to win those games. So, yeah, right now, Steelers, out of all the teams in the AFC, they look the best because they look the most consistent out of everybody.
I like us over Kansas City in a playoff game. That's my final bold take.
I like it. It pains me to say that because I still think Aaron Rodgers is the most overrated quarterback in NFL history, but we'll discuss that another time. But I agree with that. Steelers, they can go all the way this year. It's crazy.
Alrighty, and moving on to my Carolina Panthers. Back-to-back weeks, nail-biter wins. I'm not complaining, though. A win is a win. First time they've been 500 since Week 10 of 2021 in Matt Rule's second year. Dear Lord, I don't know what to say. This has been a very bizarre first 6 weeks of the season. Their defense stepped up huge. They were able to minimize a really high-powered Dallas offense that had been a top 5 unit in the entire league up to this point. Yes, they gave up 27 points, but they did just enough late in the game. They stepped up when they needed to step up. Really, really happy with how they played the last couple weeks, especially this week. I was really concerned because Dallas had been on fire. They put up 40 points on Green Bay, and I like Green Bay's defense more than I like the Panthers. So that gave me a lot of cause for concern. But this is the question I want to ask. They do have some tough games down the stretch. They have the Bucs twice. They have the Rams, 49ers, Packers, and Bills. In a perfect world, Shannon, I'll throw this to you first. Do you think there is any chance that the Panthers can finish above 500 for the first time since 2017?
I will tell you next week. And the reason why I will tell you next week is because they play the New York Jets. And here's the thing, gentlemen. Here's the thing. The Jets are winless. And they're going on the road. And Carolina's won. They're 3-0 at home. They got to go. They got to go away from home. But I tell you what. If they give the Jets their first win this year, did they do it?
Please
because
don't say that.
That can do it.
Don't say that, Shannon. Don't put that out there.
No, I don't want to say it. I got to talk about this on Thursday. You don't understand. I got to talk about this on Thursday. And I don't want to be the first one to say this and come back next week and say, fellas, dadgummit, what happened? No. I'll tell you next week. So looking at that, the Bills are next, Green Bay, the Saints, Atlanta, my 49ers. Atlanta's another coin flip because they're going to Atlanta. They're going to be playing the Saints at home, and Carolina is undefeated at home. Even though they're playing the Bills the week after that, after the Jets game, they're going to be playing the Bills. Next week is a winnable game, but I will say this is still a game that has to be played, and Carolina is on a high, and they have to really understand that they can be 4-3 this coming week against the Jets, and they better not take the Jets lightly. So I will tell you next week, but if they win it, it does look good.
And dudes always have career days on Dallas. Rico Dowdle with another monster game against his former team. Again, shout out to Jerry Jones for not re-signing Rico Dowdle because that is a phenomenal pickup for Carolina. I am interested to see how that running back room is going to shake out once Chuba Hubbard is back and fully healthy again, because Dowdle has unquestionably earned some split touches with Hubbard because he's been absolutely lights out these last 2 weeks. But Jason, I'll throw that question to you next. What are the odds you think Carolina is able to finish above 500 this season?
I think they're right now about 60%. I mean, if you look at some of the teams that they have coming up, 49ers, injuries, the Bucs, a Buka injury today. So they have some injuries, offensive line injuries. They got some injuries they're dealing with. I mean, you got the Jets. Buffalo's been known to lay an egg. So, I mean, if the Panthers can continue with the run game, again, Rico Dowdle has Uncle Rico has saved y'all season, because there's some mistakes that the Panthers do that make you go, what? and they end up like recouping from them and coming out the other side clean, which is kind of crazy that they can make those kind of mistakes and still win football games. But I think they can. Look, this is the NFL. This season has been weird to call. There's no real dominant team because, any given Sunday right now, Philly, blows it to the Giants, and just so you're seeing a lot of craziness right now. You're seeing a lot of big injuries going on in the NFL right now, too, which is so disheartening. So if the Panthers can stay healthy, if Bryce Young can just not do stupid things and control the game, and if y'all's run game, I'm telling you, Rico Dowdle, I think he's the number one right now. Even when Chuba comes back, I think Chuba number two. Split carries with him, but I think Rico gets the number one because he has been lights out the past couple of games, and he is the reason y'all winning. So why would you take him? Don't mess. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So keep Rico in there. Let's go. Ride Uncle Rico till he don't ride no more.
I'm a little inclined to agree with you there, and that feels weird to say because Hubbard did have such a fantastic year last season, but yeah, Rico's just been too good.
He never ran for 200 back to back.
Back to back system. Bring that back. I mean, because
it works in Detroit. It works in Detroit.
You have to do this with Bryce Young at quarterback. You have to do this. They've been forcing him to throw the ball, and they can't do that. He cannot throw the ball 32 times a game. He cannot do that.
That's not his MO.
Anything away from him. Look at what's going on in Indiana right now. You cannot tell me that Danny Dimes is not doing what he's doing because Jonathan Taylor is not running the ball lights out. When you give quarterbacks like that running games, they're going to be fine. They're going to actually excel. And that's what they did. That's what they're doing in Indiana. Jonathan Taylor's killing it right now.
Woo.
And Carolina can win with a two-back backfield with Chuba and Rico Dowdle. They can do that. So that alleviates the pressure. And Ted Rohr was able to get 2 touchdowns in this game because of that. Jimmy Horn Jr. was able to get going. Dowdle was good in the passing game. So this can work if they know what they're doing, if they utilize it well. And the quarterback whisperer, Dave Canales doing what he's doing right now. This can be done for Carolina, though. It can be.
Without a doubt. And Bryce Young did have a pretty clean game. That interception was not his fault at all. No. That was a drop on Tyrone McMillan.
Yeah, it bounced off his hands.
Hit him right in the hands. That was not on him whatsoever, which was really great to see because the first 5 weeks there was always this scheduled first half turnovers, and then they pick it up in the second half. So for them to be able to cut that out, that was crucial to getting this win. And props to him for being able to bounce back after that interception. Chris, what are the odds Carolina can finish this season with a winning record?
It's going to be hard, and excuse me, it's going to be hard. Just looking at their schedule, I was going ahead and looking at that here over what you guys are talking, and I give them about 7 wins. I think you guys, the layups, I think you win, even with the mistakes that both Shannon and Jason mentioned. I still think that, like you guys said, they managed to kind of undo those mistakes with really good offensive performances from 1 or 2 guys. And by the way, shout out Rico Dowdle for leading in rushing and receiving, by the way, with 56 yards. So it's really proof that Bryce Young is spreading the field around. Obviously, he had that receiving touchdown. But the layup wins. You have the Saints twice. I think that's a win. I see you guys finishing like maybe 1 or 2 under 500. I think you guys can upset a Seattle Seahawks team, especially if you can contain JSN, who we'll be talking about later. But yeah, shout out, just good performance overall from the offense. Bryce Young, if he can limit the turnovers, again, I think it's going to be around 500 to maybe a game under. So, but shout out Carolina. It was really nice to see. I loved watching that walk-off field goal too. So happy Aaron got to have a good day.
It was a good weekend. App State won yesterday too. Beat Georgia State. Never really worried about that game, but always good to see the Mountaineers get a win. But moving on, Shannon, your 49ers, the last 2 years, the injury bug has hit them like a Mack truck. Fred Warner is out for the season. That is a devastating loss to that defense. I don't have this on the rundown, but Baker Mayfield has been lights out this year. He has been fantastic. I want to throw this to you first, Shannon. Do you think he's the MVP favorite right now?
Absolutely. If he's not, he better be. Now, I watched this morning on Sunday NFL Countdown. You know, he came in here with cockiness and everything, the bravado and all that with Cleveland. Then the whole Deshaun Watson thing kind of humbled him. He went to Carolina and got very, didn't get coached well. Went to the Rams, didn't get coached well. We laughed at him when he went to Tampa Bay and talked about, oh, I'm not Tom Brady and all that other stuff. But as of right now, he's being a leader. He's growing up in front of us. He is distributing the ball with accuracy. He's not playing with his big guys either. He's not playing with Mike Evans. He's not playing with Chris Godwin. Emeka Egbuka has been eaten this year. He ain't playing with Bucky Irvin either on top of that, too. That line is having some trouble. So they're getting some injury problems as well, too. And Baker's just still playing. And he's still getting it. He's still doing it. I mean, I like to see this side of Baker. I really do. I hate that it's in Tampa Bay, you know what I'm saying, with Carolina there, and then he beat my boys today. You know what I'm saying? I hate that, but Baker, you got to hand it to him. My man is cooking right now, so he's got to be. And if he's not, then you're a hater.
Without a doubt, I would say he's my MVP favorite. And Shannon, throw another question at you. Mac Jones, yes, he had over 300 passing yards, but he had a few interceptions to boot with that. Do you think San Francisco would have fared better with Brock Purdy at quarterback, or was this result kind of inevitable?
It would have been the same, to be honest with you, I believe. Brock is still hurting, but he's hurting more than Mac Jones is. Mac Jones wasn't playing 100% either in this game also, too. There's got to be there has to be an internal investigation, the Rico laws. Something's going on with my squad getting hurt the way that they've been getting hurt over the past few years. You don't see this. This is not happening anywhere else but San Francisco. It's got to be an inside job. This can't be coincidence after coincidence every week. This is an inside job. Somebody's doing something. Now, Fred Warner's out for the season, best middle linebacker in the NFL, out for the season. It was bad how that happened. Guys landed on him. It happens. But again, once again, another key part of the team, and now a key part of our defense. So this is terrible, man. I don't like it. Hate it.
I definitely hate to see it too, because I don't know. I feel like the 49ers are just right there from being competitive in the NFC, and it's injuries that are really killing them. Chris, I'll throw this to you. We are running a tad bit long, but do you think the 49ers would have fared better with Brock Purdy at quarterback?
Same result. I mean, Mac Jones has been really holding the fort down, I think. Those 2 interceptions, we can argue till midnight if that's because of him being hurt or not, that they're still crucial. Every interception in the NFL is crucial, especially when you have 2 teams that have been in the Super Bowl, one winning relatively recently, 2 teams that are very, very incredibly well coached too. So I think it would have been the same. I hope that Brock Purdy can come back, be 100%. And, it's tough. It's tough. The injury bug is tough for San Francisco. I feel like that's what we've always been saying with them though. So would have been the same as my overall take.
And Jason, could the 49ers have made this a better game if Brock Purdy was not injured?
No, I agree with both the guys. They kind of nailed it on the head. San Francisco, I don't know what it is, man. You need to get a witch doctor out there or something, man, because there is some bad juju going on that field. Because they step on the field and it just everything breaks. 49ers, I'm surprised they're doing as well as they're doing with all the injuries. Look, the Bucs did not come out of this game either unscathed. They're going to have some injuries they have to deal with. I'm going to hate on Baker. Sorry here, podcast Smitty. I think I love Baker Mayfield. He is my MVP of heart, but he's in the top 5. But right now, Taylor and Indiana Jones are my 1-2 for MVPs.
That's a solid shout too. And moving on, quick little rapid fire segment because we are running long. Chris, the Bengals put up somewhat of a fight against the Green Bay Packers, a little bit closer than I personally would have expected it to be. with the bulk of a weaker AFC North schedule ahead of them, do you think that what do you think the odds are that Joe Flacco might be able to help them hit 9-8, maybe sneak in at that last wild card spot?
It's going to be tough. It really is going to be tough for them. And I think that even with the offensive weapons that they have around them, that's just so based around Joe Burrow, I really thought that Cincinnati was fraudulent kind of going into it, even with a healthy Burrow, because of their inability to pay an offensive line, their inability to build around Trey Hendrickson, who's a fantastic defensive player. I mean, you really just have to look at it that, the Houston Texans have started a little bit slow, 2-3. They're still there. Jacksonville, Indy, all that, and the AFC West too. AFC South, AFC West, with how clumped together they are. Kansas City is not going anywhere. They'll be in. They're not going to miss. Denver, Chargers, Texans, Jags, Colts, some combination of them, plus New England. AFC is too strong. It's too while the NFC is maybe a little more top heavy, the AFC has a lot more talent all through and through, and I just don't see Cincinnati getting in. It's too little, too late, even when Burrow does come back sometime between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
And Jason, the Jets lost to the Broncos, some atrocious clock management to end the first half of that game this morning. They're sitting at 0-6 on the season. Do you think they're going to stand by Aaron Glenn, or will he be fired at some point this season?
I think they stand by him at least for this year. I think he gets a little bit of a pass being brand new. But look, that Jets team is atrocious, and a lot of it to me has to do with coaching. Look, that the way they played that game today, clock management, your head coach is looking around for help. He doesn't have anybody, so that to me says they did not really surround him with any good offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, nothing. Like, he's looking for help and he's not getting any help. Look, you're over there in Europe and American football is like their third language. And when you have that crowd booing you, asking you what the heck you're doing with clock management, you're doing something wrong, when the Europeans are like wondering, what the heck are these American guys doing? So I'm really, really concerned about that coaching staff. Just because, it's one thing to be bad, but when you start losing the locker room, when you start losing your players, Garrett Wilson's not happy. Justin Field is out there getting killed again on another team. It's like history repeating itself. So I have a feeling from what I'm seeing of that team, this is going to go defeated the rest of the year. I don't think the Jets win a football game.
That is a rough prediction, Shannon. Jaxson Smith-Njigba had an absolute monster game this week. 8 catches, 162 yards, and a touchdown on the way to the Seahawks, picking up a 20-12 win. He's had a really strong start to the season. Do you think JSN is a contender for Offensive Player of the Year?
I hate him. Only because he's a Seattle Seahawk. That's the only reason why. But he's a contender for it. I think this year it's got to be Jonathan Taylor is the guy up front. Because you know how it goes. If a quarterback wins the MVP, then the running game, whoever is that best running back will probably get it. The last wide receiver to win Offensive Player of the Year was Justin Jefferson in 2022, and he had a monster year. I think JSN has a good opportunity to do so. He's in the running, but I think Jonathan Taylor is the number one guy. I'd probably say JSN has to be either 2. I'm satisfied with him being 3 right now. I still say that Danny Dimes could be, because it just depends on how this MVP will shake out. But I think JSN has got to be in the consideration. He has to be. And
moving on to our primetime preview, the Chiefs are 2.5-point favorites. I was a little bit surprised by that. I would have thought Detroit would be favored going into this game. Chris, do you think Detroit's going to pull off the quote-unquote upset, or are the Chiefs going to prove that their dynasty is alive and well?
Detroit's a much better team overall, and they're playing a lot better. Kansas City looks like they have a lot of problems going on. But like I said before, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, those guys, they're not going to let it happen. This start's a fluke. Detroit gave up 24 to a Joe Burrow-less Bengals team. So give me Kansas City as a just winning. I don't think it's an upset. I would much rather see Detroit win, but Kansas City is not going anywhere. It's a mirage.
Jason, Who do you have winning this game tonight?
I think Detroit pulls it out. I think it's going to be a shootout. I got them 34-28. I'm going Detroit Lions. I think their offense is just much better. Their run game is still the best in the league with Sonic and Knuckles there. So give me Detroit just because of that. A lot of questions in the run game there for Kansas City. Mahomes, he does some magical things, but who's going to be their number one? Their wide receiver room is still questionable. Defense keeps them in the games, but I think that just Detroit just has way too many offensive weapons. Amon-Ra St. Brown is still that dude. So yeah, give me Detroit in a barn burner here.
Alex has the Chiefs getting it done too. So Chris, as of right now, you are not alone. I really do think Detroit's going to get it done. I think it's going to be a little bit close because the Chiefs are still good. They've just had a rough start to the year. I'm going to say 31-27. Detroit gets it done in a close game. Shannon, who do you have winning tonight?
Chiefs Magic will be here in this game. It's going to be a down-the-wire game. I think it'll be last possession. I think Detroit wins it by a field goal.
I say by 7, just to do a throw-up score out there, random score.
Vegas knows something that we don't. So there's a reason they're 2.5 above. Vegas knows something, but yeah.
I call that the Chiefs tax because they've been good. They're going to be favorites. But running a little long this evening, so that will do it for Week 6 of the Gridiron Address. Stay tuned for Week 7. Back again Sunday night. Might see some of these guys on again. Appreciate you all for watching, and have a good rest of your night.